Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm as you can if you do follow my channel, you can see that I've started doing film reviews. Um, and I wanted to throw in there some what I consider to be classic movies, and some movies that have meant a lot to me growing up, and just resonate with me on a certain level. And the first one that I'm going to do is a film called Major League that was released in 1989. Now, Major League, um, when I first saw it, I didn't even know that the Cleveland Indians were a real team. I thought they were a fictional team made up for the movie. And it was probably about 15 years after the movie came out that I actually realised they were a real team. So even though I'm from the UK, um, the Cleveland Indians have always had a special place in my heart, really, due to this movie. Hence, as you can see, my hat. I got this sent from America. Well, in fact, I had a friend that went to America, and I asked him to get me one because they're going to Cleveland. Um, so for those that have never seen this movie, first off, what have you been doing? I mean, it's a great sports movie. First off, and it's a good comedy movie. Second, and third, it's got a great cast. And it's one of those, if you like, that's kind of been forgotten over the years. But if it's one that you dig up and watch, which I've done recently for this review, it actually really stands up very well still today. Like I said, the cast, as you can see there, it's got Wesley Snipes in it, one of his first movies. Charlie Sheen, when he was Charlie Sheen and not the caricature he became of himself. And Tom Berenger, who is I think, one of the best leading men um, in Hollywood at that time and for a number of years following this movie. And Corbin Burnson in there too, who was a big actor at the time. So it had a really good cast, and there's some others in there as well. And you'll watch it and you'll think, I know them. So it's got a lot of actors in there. So it's got a really good pedigree. And essentially the story is the Cleveland Indians have been on a slump for decades, essentially. And the new owner wants to relocate them to Miami. So she sets up a team essentially to lose. So she puts in place a team who she expects to lose because they just on paper are a load of rubbish. And initially, that seems to be the case. They're full of misfits, weird odd characters, and they don't gel, they don't get on, and they just mess up an awful lot in the beginning when they're playing the baseball. But slowly and surely, the coach gels them together, it all starts clicking, and there's a bit of talent in the team that starts coming out, and they start winning. And then, especially when they find out that the owner actually can't stand them and wants them to lose, that spurs them on really to do even better, just to spite her, basically. That's a general story. There's a nice love interest in there for Tom Berenger, which is Rennie Russo, which is another cast member, great actress. And this was one of her first movie roles as well, one of her early ones. Um, so that's kind of the story there, but it all really works well. It's not one of those movies where it's not like a caricature or of a baseball movie. It's a very serious baseball movie with comedy moments in it that actually do make you laugh out loud, quite a lot of them. But the comedy doesn't take over the movie. You believe what you're seeing. You believe these guys are baseball players and they know what they're doing, and they pull it off. I mean, Charlie Sheen, for example, did play a bit of baseball before he became an actor, and he was quite good at it, from what I understand. So he pulled that off really well. But the film itself, for me, I remember watching this for the first time, and the last 20 minutes or so in the movie, it's just goosebump moment after goosebump moment. It is fantastic. I defy anybody at the scene where Charlie Sheen comes out to the Wild Thing music right at the end to not get the goosebumps. It's impossible to watch that on full blast, not get the goosebumps. It is wonderful. And the scene where Tom Berenger calls his shot, like points to the sky and calls his shot, again, it's a goosebump moment. So I think they really, really nailed it, this movie. And it was successful at the time because it spawned a sequel, Major League 2, which a lot of people will say is nowhere near as good as the first one, and I agree, it's not as good as the first one, but the second one, Major League 2, does have some good moments in it too. It's just a bit filtered down version of the first one. It's kind of a rehash. But if you watch this and enjoy this, I do recommend seeing Major League 2. Forget Major League 3, Back to the Minors, that is trash. But Major League 2 does sit fairly well side by side to this movie. This is one of those movies, a lot of people, if you like, are looking back on the 80s at the minute, looking back at some of the classic 80s movies, like Stranger Things, that's just been on Netflix, was all 80s themed, and everyone's all 80s at the minute. So if you really want to look at some really good 80s movies that a lot of people don't remember very much, this is one of them, especially if you're a sports movie fan. Seek this movie out. You can still buy it. I couldn't tell you 100% if you can get it on Blu-ray, but I suspect you certainly can. Certainly in the States you'll be able to get it on Blu-ray. But for me, this is one of those movies that should be held up and remembered from the 80s. It's a great comedy movie. It's a great sports movie. If I ever do a top 10 sports movies, this will be definitely in that list. So, Major League, go and see it. Great film.